Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, to the world away. And we're now going to be doing parts 5, 6, 7 and 8 of the Peugeot 205 GTI build from IXO Collections. As said, I'm loving this build, especially because I used to own one of these way back in the early 90s. Now, if you haven't seen parts 1, 2, 3 and 4, I'll put a link up here so you can see that for yourself. You can see what we built. I'm going to review anyway what we did do in the first pack. This is the next pack and that contains 4 issues. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, what I've done is I've put a link down the bottom here to IXO Collections. You'll get everything that you see here. You'll get all the magazines as well. If you're based in the UK, it should automatically go over to UK language, and you should be able to get all of the guides and all the instructions online on that IXO Collections site as well. All the pictures you see are from the English instructions that are online, but let's show you what we did in the last pack. So as you can see, we've got the bottom of the fender there. We also have some trim with the number plate. We also did a wheel, quite a lot just for the first pack. We did the steering wheel, which was all metal, looking like that. And then we've got another front grille here. And finally, we have the bonnet looking just like that. So that was everything that we had done in the last pack. Now, the last pack contained issues 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this pack, number 5, is going to contain 5, 6, 7 and 8. So let's show you what we're going to do today. Now, as you can see, it's all about the engine. Today we're going to be building pretty much the whole of the engine. We've got some HT leads here to put in. For that reason, I did get myself, showing it on the close-up cam, some fuse wire. I'm going to be using the 15 amp fuse wire here, and I'll show you what I'm going to be using that for later. But as you see, we're going to be piecing this whole thing together. Quite a lot to do, to be honest with you. So at the end of it, we are going to have quite a few pages here. The engine looking just like this, with all the HT leads into the distributor there, all the pipe work coming off. Pretty impressive. I can't wait to do this. I do like the engine builds, and it's quite impressive to see what this engine is going to look like at the end. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, it is worth showing you the plate free gift that we get from IXO Collections. A metal plate here, looking just like that, 205 GTI with IXO Collections on the bottom, 1/8 scale. This will be good for displaying underneath the vehicle when it is finished. That goes along with the hat that we got, looking just like that, which is one of the other free gifts. So the first things we need are the oil sump, looking like this, and the bracket looking like this. All of these parts are metal, which is absolutely brilliant, quite heavy in my hand as well. And all we're going to do is put the brackets just over the lugs in here. We're going to be putting these in with screws. The screws we're going to be putting them in with are BM screws. Now I've got them here once again with the screws. If they end in the letter M, it means they're going into metal. And when that happens, because there might be paint on there, or there might be some frayed metal in the joints here, I always put a dab of oil just on the screw, just to help that go in nice and easy when we start to screw in. So here's the first screw, and then the second screw. I didn't put that in all the way then, just enough till I can hold that in place, just so I can get the second screw in here. So when that's brackets in, it should look like that. Should be nice and tight in there. We've then got a spacer plate to put in, looking just like this. This is plastic, and as you can see, we do have 3 lugs here. They're just going to go over to the 3 holes that you can see in the sump there. So we're going to push them in, just like this. And there we go, that holds itself in, no problems. You don't need glue for that, it's going to hold itself in, no problems at all. We can put that to one side because we're going to need to take a bracket and a rear cover here, looking just like this. Again, all of these are metal. Everything you're seeing here is metal, and it's been painted absolutely perfectly. And quite simply, following what we just did, this is just going to go over these 2 holes that we can see in here like that. And it's going to be secured into place with BM screws again. So once again, I've dropped that in a little bit of oil, and we'll get these in. Once again, I'm not going to put them in all the way, just enough, just hold one in, then I'll put one in the other side, then tighten them completely up. And when that's in, that should look just like that. We bring back over the oil sump that we've got here. We've got the bottom of the gearbox, again, all metal like that. This is just going to go over the top like that. And then the bracket that we just made will be going at the other end over here, just like that. We're going to be securing these in, once again, with BM screws. So the first one I'll do will be the gearbox housing, attaching the oil sump to that. That's one screw, and we'll do one just on the other side there. Make that nice and tight. We don't want any parts to be or have any wobble in them at all, as you can see. So that's nice and sturdy. And we're going to do the same thing with this bracket that we created last time, just in here like this. Line it up, and then we'll get this in nice and tight. So at the moment it's looking just like that. Now this is really going to come along because we've got the top of the gearbox housing. Look at the detail on that, which quite simply is just going to go over the top of these two lugs here like that. And once again, we're going to secure that down with 2 BM screws. That's the first one in, and one more. Bit of oil in there, and we'll put that in. Whoops, falling off my screwdriver, this side here. Now the last thing I'm going to do is put this mount plate on. Now this is just going to go onto the hole that you can just see here from the end piece that we created, and it's going to go on this way so that the beveled side here is going to be facing towards the engine, and once again that's going to be held on with a BM screw. Now there is a little keyhole pattern in there which will enable you to put this in the correct way. It can only go in one way, so we hold that into place like that and put a screw in here. And when that's nice and tight in place, it should look just like that. And that is all there is to do in stage 5. Now as you can see here, stage 6 is all about the cylinder head, bit of a reflection there, and all the HT leads. Gonna have some fun with this one. So the first thing we're going to need is the rocker head or cylinder head cover here, and just the ignition distributor here. That's just going to go over this hole here, and it's going to be held in with an AP screw. I do already have one of those ready here, so line it up. It is plastic, so I'm not going to need oil for this. We'll just screw this in like that. Now the second part of the distributor, looking just like that, is going to go into the top of that section there. Again, just mirroring like we've done, just like that, with an AP screw as well. So when that's done, I'll show you on the top camera, looking just like that. Now we've got a distributor cap here, which is just going to go onto the top hole that we see there. And this is just a push to fit, just like that, sitting on top. And then obviously we need the cap for the distributor, which is already painted red for us. It looks just like that. Look at the detail in that. This takes me back because I used to have so many problems with my distributor getting wet and damp inside. So it certainly is a trip down memory lane, this build. Okay, so we push that on just like that. Now we can put that to one side because we're going to be putting the manifold here. This is what the manifold looks like. This is plastic, but check out the painting on that. That's excellent. We're going to be attaching that to the cylinder block here. So quite simply, as you see, we've got 2 holes in the side there, matching the 2 holes that we've just got there. This way round, we're just going to put that in like that. And once again, it's going to be held into place with AP screws. So just line it up and take your time screwing this in, because remember, you are screwing it in at an angle, but the angle's not that acute that you won't be able to tighten it up like you just saw there. So once again, putting it in the hole and then slowly turning it till it won't go anymore, just like that. As you can see, that manifold's in nice and tight. Now holding that this way round, we're going to be putting the rocker head cover or the cylinder head cover just underneath over these 2 holes here. So that's going to go on just like that. And once again, we're going to be securing that in with AP screws. So here's the first one. That's in place, and we'll put one more just in the other side there. There we go. Excellent. I do like how you've got the plugs already in place here. We've got two more parts here which are labelled the ignition distributor again and the thermostat housing. We just need to connect these two together, and quite simply, as you can see, we've got a hole in here. This is just going to go over the top of that, just like that, and once again it's going to be held in just with an AP screw there. Make sure that's put in nice and tight. There we go. And quite simply, the thermostat housing, these two holes here are just going to go over to the two holes in the engine just there. Now they're going to be held in with CM screws. Once again, CM, ends in an M. Going to put some oil on that. So I'll put the first one in. I haven't put that in all the way, just enough to line it up. Here's the second one. Just in the other side here. The detail on these engines are absolutely amazing. But the thing that's been giving me sleepless nights at the moment, which I've been thinking about, are the HT leads, which we're going to be putting on shortly. But there we go, that's the thermostat and the thermostat housing in place. And the last thing to do, as you can see on the side of the distributor here, we've got two holes. We're just going to be putting the ignition tidy leads or brackets just into these holes. Now they do have a semicircular sort of lug, so you need to make sure you put them in the right way. I'm making sure that they are 90 degrees, just like that. And there we go, that's the tidies in for the HT leads. Now the HT leads here, they should all be the same size. They're labelled as 6J in the instructions, and as you can see, they look just like that. Now what we do is we're going to grab one. I want to show you the problem that you're going to have. Basically what we'll do is we'll put one end in here just over the plug. If it doesn't fit in, then I suggest just putting it in your mouth, soften it up a bit, then push it over and that will go in. Then we want to trace this through the gaps that we can see at the top there, and we're going to be putting it into the brackets that you've just seen there. So we've got one here, this is going to go into the bottom one, pushing it in, and one at the bottom of the next bracket there. Push that one in as well. Just like that. It looks quite tidy actually. I don't think I'm going to need to do what I said I was going to do, but we'll see. And then it's going to go into the distributor. Now the first one is going to go into this point just at the back underneath of the distributor here. So it's going to go into this socket over here. Now I haven't cut this down or anything. What I was going to do was use some fuse wire, put it into this, because these HT wires are just hollow tubes, and then it will enable me to shape it. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to need it. What I think I will do is I'll cut this down a little bit because it doesn't need to be that long. So I'll take that one out. I've got some sprue cutters here. I'm going to cut about that much length off this one, and then we'll get this helping with my trusty tweezers here into here. And there we go, that's the first one in. You know what, I had sleepless nights for no reason then at all. That looks brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I didn't need to use the fuse wire. So we're just going to repeat that for all the other ones now. You know what, I'm so pleasantly surprised at how that looks. That's how they go into the distributor. I have put a picture down there, but that looks amazing, and I didn't have to use the fuse wire, which I really thought I'd have to do, but that looks brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now the last lead to put in is this black one here, which is the oil breather hose. That's just going to go over to the little nipple that we can see at the top of the rocker head cover here. So I'll push that on. Just like that. And that is the end of that stage. Absolutely brilliant. We can leave this just like that for the minute. We will be moving that later on. But that was stage 6 complete. And in stage 7, looking like this, we've got some brackets here. We've got intake manifolds. We've got gas hose brackets. All sorts of things in here. Let's get this open. And the first thing we need looks just like this. Is the oil filler housing here. And as you can see, we've got two sort of lugs on either side there. In the left hand side, this side here, we're going to have the tiny tube that we got here coming out of that. So I'll put that in and push it home, so it looks like that. And then on the other side we've got the longer one here that's going to be going over this side here, just like that. We're then going to be taking the intake manifold, looking just like that, and we're going to be taking the fuel injection feed rail. Now the feed rail here, that's just going to go into the 2 holes that we can see here, so I can push that home like this. It's just a push to fit this one. They don't need to go in all the way, just like that. And as you can see, that holds itself, no problems at all. And then we've got this tiny fuel pressure regulator here, which is just going to go into the hole on top here. So I'll put that in like this. There we go. And that's going to look like that when that's completed. Then we've got the gas hose bracket looking just like this. That's just going to go into the hole on this side of the bracket we just put in, like this. And then we've got one more tiny hose here to put in. That's just going to go onto the top of the regulator there, just like that. And the other side is going to go onto the first nipple that we can see just there. You might need tweezers to help you. I'm going to see if I can get away without using them, which I have. So there we go. That looks just like that. Now we're going to be bringing back the cylinder head cover and all the HT leads we worked on last time, because we're going to be putting some fuel injectors just into these holes here. Now the fuel injectors do come on a sprue, so you're going to need some sprue cutters just to get these off. So I'm going to cut all of these off. 1, 2. Now these sprue cutters are in my Amazon store. I have put a link up on the channel just there, so you can see where you can get these from yourself. It does make short work of taking these things off of sprues here. 4. Now these do have a semicircular shape on them, so when we put them in, they can only go in one way, as you can see there. So that's 1 in. I am using my glasses here so I can actually see that they have got a shape to them. Here's the second one. These glasses do make short work of it. Here's the third one. And finally the 4th one over this side. Then we're going to take the intake manifold that we worked on last time, holding it this way round. We've got 2 slots just in the bottom there. We're going to put that in just like that, turn it upside down, and these are going to be held in on this side here with BM screws. So I've got them here. I've just put a little bit of oil on there just to line that up, and I'll get one in like that. Do the other side here. Just in there like that. Make sure this is nice and tight. 1 and 2. Now when we do put that in, you want to make sure that all of those injectors there go into the holes of the fuel rail just there. I'm just checking mine, and there are a couple that just need to be coaxed in there. So that's 1. Using my tweezers to help me do this. And there we go. I'm happy they're all in just like that. And basically at the end of that stage, as you can see, we've got these 3 parts here. 1 more stage to go. So in stage 8, the first thing we're going to take is the engine block here. This is the left engine block. Once again, all metal, very heavy. The quality of this is amazing. And we've got an oil cooler to put in here, and we've got just a little bracket for that. And what we're going to do is just put the oil cooler just through this section here. And this is going to go into the hole just on the bottom of the block there. It's a keyhole pattern, so it can only go in one way, just like that. It's going to be held in on the other side here with a AP screw. I do have one of them ready to go here, so I'll screw that in. And when that's in, it should look like that with the nipples at the bottom here pointing down. And this is the section I love when we start to piece everything together. So quite simply, as you can see, holding it this way round, we've got 2 holes at the bottom here. They're just going to go over the 2 lugs just in the centre like that. They're going to be held in with BM screws. Now we are piecing the engine together now, so what we want to do is make sure that these are really tight. We don't want any movement in the engine at all. So I'll put the first screw in here just to line it up, and then make it nice and tight. Let's do the second one here. Again, drop of oil in there. It's going to go in here, just like that. And make that nice and tight as well. I'm going to put that to one side because we need to bring over the gearbox now, because we've got the right hand side of the engine block that we're going to need to attach to the bracket that we put in at the beginning now. And quite simply, having it this way round, we're just going to be putting the bottom lugs here just lined up with the holes in the bracket that we put in there. Once again, this is BM screws. So here's the first one, and we'll put one more in the other side. It's quite funny that, considering the engine on the 205 is a lot smaller than some of the other cars I'm building, this is probably one of the heaviest engines that we've built so far. But there we go, that should look just like that. And then all we're going to do, other side of the gearbox here, to piece everything together, we're going to take this whole assembly we've done here. We're going to match off these two holes here with the two lugs this side. So it's going to go in just like that. And we're going to be sandwiching these together just with some BM screws again. We've got one just to put into the other side here. If you can see there, just the last hole here. Make sure that's in nice and tight. And there we go. That is the engine pretty much all in place there. That looks brilliant, doesn't it? Okay, the next thing we need to do is on the manifold side here, we need to put the drive shaft extension in. That looks just like this. Now that's going to go into the hole that you can just see in the side there, just like that. And then we've got a hole just going over the side of the engine. We are going to put a screw into that. That's an AM screw. So I've got that here. Once again, a little bit of oil because we are going into metal. And we can secure that in nice and tight on this side. Then we've got a couple of leads to put in here. The first lead's already got some ends on for us. One's got a red end with a little tab at the end here. So that's going to go into the hole that you can just see there, which I think is going to be a little bit fiddly to get in, but I will get it in there. Just like that. It actually only goes in one way, as you can see. And then we've got another lead to put in, which is the shorter of the black leads that we've got here. And that's going to go onto the little nipple that we can see just there. So I'll plug that one in as well. Just like that. Now the two longer leads we've got here, got two of these. They're just going to go on the bottom of the oil cooler that we got here, the two nozzles at the bottom. So I'll plug one in this side, just like that, and one in the other side. Oops, get in there, just like that. And then we've got the starter motor, which is plastic, looks just like this. That's just going to go into the hole that you can see here next to the larger hole there. So it's this long end here that we're going to poke in there and push that all the way in. It's not glued, it's just pushed in. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this oil breather hose from the top. We're going to put it down this little V-shaped passage that we got at the top there. So that's going to go down there just like that. I'm going to pull that down just so it comes out the bottom of the engine there. We're then going to plug in the oil filler housing here. That's just going to go onto the hole that you can see at the bottom of this section here. So I'll push that in just like that. And then this cable from the top that we had is just going to connect to the nipple just at the side of that housing there. So I'm going to bend that round. Got my tweezers to help me here. So there we go. That's that lead connected that side. Now this longer lead that's coming out the side of this hose, once again, is going to go down the little V shape that we've got here. Just lining everything up so it comes out the bottom there. And that's going to go into the nipple that you can see just next to the oil cooler at the bottom there. So I'll push that down and we'll get that plugged in. And that is pretty much everything we need to do in this stage. Now we have got some things that we haven't connected yet. We haven't connected this pipe here. We haven't connected the red section here to anything at the moment. I think that actually stays like that at the moment. We've got a breather pipe at this side here. We've got these 2 pipes here that are still left to connect. But that is all there is to do in that pack, and I'm sure you'll agree that looks amazing. It's really heavy as well. I do love how tidy these look as well. It's a lovely, clean, tidy engine. So there you go, that was issues 5, 6, 7 and 8 done. Next time we do this, probably next week, we're going to be doing 9, 10, 11 and 12. But I really do hope you like how that looks, and the quality of it is unsurpassed. But if you want to get this for yourself, once again, I've put down the link there to IXO Collections. You'll be able to get that, get some of these free gifts here with that, and the plate, which I almost lost there, looking just like that. But you'll be able to build this along with me. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.